You know what I find it interesting that all of a sudden, it hasn't even been that many years that have gone by, but all of a sudden, all these men have low T. Everyone has low T, low testosterone. And the first resolution, the first thing, the first answer they go to is to, obviously, you get your T levels checked. Obviously, that's how you find out you have low T, apparently. Like, you wouldn't know that already. But you go get your T levels checked, and they say, doctor says you have low testosterone. So, instead of asking you about your diet, about your sleep, are you strength training, what kind of stresses, what kind of environments, what kind of people do you hang around with, they say, you should take TRT. So they prescribe you TRT, you take it, and now your testosterone levels are up. But now your body isn't naturally producing testosterone and is relying on this substance to keep your T levels up. So as long as you get off it, if you ever do, you're fucked. And you're a slave to it. And you know what's funny is that if you think, when would be the time when someone's testosterone is at its highest? Obviously, when you're younger, right? So if you're old fart, you know, maybe there's only so much you can do, right? Maybe your genes are just suck. Maybe you don't have the African genetics like I do. But if you think about when most people are their most competitive state of mind and being, when they're physically competitive, mentally competitive, strong, is when they're in high school or college, and when they're competing in some kind of sport. That could be fighting, could be football, basketball, whatever it is. But why is the testosterone also high at that time? Could it be the fact that you're around other individuals who are also on the same team with you, competing for a similar goal? Maybe you're playing on a basketball team, for example, and you have all of you guys, you're playing against other teams, and you're competing to win. And if you slack off, your players will call you out. If you slack off, your coach will call you out. And you know that if you slack off, ultimately, that's going to lead to you losing and your team not winning games and not being competitive. So what happens is you are super competitive, your testosterone is high, you're in good physical fitness. And then what happens? You decide that you're going to go to college and pay thousands and thousands of dollars to learn something, to put you in a desk around other people, to learn a skill from someone who actually never did the actual real thing in real life. And you're going to train your body to become a slave, to sit into a cubicle and sit and stare in front of a computer and type spreadsheets. And then you wonder why your testosterone is dropping. And then you go to a bar or go to play video games, and you're not in any competitive environment other than a fake environment with a video game where you're getting and beating levels and becoming a master and winner in this game. But in the real life, you ain't achieving nothing. You're not competing anything. You don't have a band of brothers that you're around with that are holding you accountable. You're not trying to win anything together with a group of people. And then you wonder why your testosterone drops. And then to put more insult to injury, you start eating all this shit food, fast food, all this shit. And then you start to get older and older, and your life sucks, and you start, whatever else you're doing, porn, whacking off. And then all these years go by, another 10 years goes by, and then you're like, you know what, my testosterone is low. Who would have thought that no longer working out, not staying in a competitive environment, not having a group of men who will hold you accountable and will tell you if you're being a little shit. Who would have thought all of that would lead to low T? And on top of your diet shit, start drinking, a bunch, eating all this fast food and shit. And then you wonder why your testosterone levels are low. Ain't that a bitch?